When I wrote Rozabal line and I talked about a boat coming from the coast of Gujarat with a bunch of terrorists on it.
I know.
In order to carry out coordinated attacks.
And
That was scary.
26/11 happened.
And then 26/11 happened. And I was like, sometimes it feels scary because you're wondering what part of fact is inspiring you to write fiction, and then how that fiction has in turn probably inspired someone else to, write fact.
When it was in America, were you worried? Because see, one of the primary sources that I went back to your bibliography, which is rather vast.
Yeah.
Some in Rozabal Shrine, some 180, 200 sources you've cited, something like that.
Yeah.
One of the books you cited was Jesus in India.
Yeah.
That
Olga
book,
Kirsten.
Hanji, that book was panned a lot.
Yeah.
Right? It was like,
Yeah.
it was basically said conspiracy theory, sort
course.
of a pseudo sort of interpretation of
Sure.
history. And the fact that it was in the West where your book was first done, thoda apprehension tha, some fear that it might be received in a negative way?
To a certain extent, I knew that I was working within the realm of fiction. I think to a very great extent, what happens is if you ever let go of your avatar, understanding what it is that you do. When people ask me, what is it that you do? I say, listen, I take two words. One is a word called myth.
Yeah.
And one is a word called history. And I try and bring them charging towards one another at a very high speed
Mystery.
so that they collide and they become mystery. So you understand that, listen, you're a paperback writer, you're a conspiracy fiction writer, and that you're simply using a bunch of facts from the world of science and history and anthropology and geography and so on and what have you, and you're trying to use that in the context of a fictional tale. The moment you start believing too much in the seriousness of what you have written, and you start saying, no, this is real, that's the time when controversy occurs.
Yes.
So the moment you know that, listen, I'm a fiction writer and what I write is fiction, but I use facts in order to prop up my story.
Of course.
Because there is that old proverb which says that, I remember when the Rozabal line was written, a young journalist asked me, you're an MBA in finance and with a training in business, and suddenly you decide to write a theological thriller. What are your qualifications to write it? And I said that, during my growing up years, my mother always used to say that I'm a bloody good liar. That I can tell a lie with pretty much a straight face. And that's what fiction writers do. We spin yarns. But the corollary to that is that if you're going to tell a lie, then tell the lie as close to the truth as possible. Because then the lie becomes that much more believable.
Click here to watch the full episode.